Humans could be so much more. But like what says Kosinman with this book All Tomorrows? Today, we're going to take a look at human evolution in Kosinman's image, and I'm going to share with you some lore and some of his weird world building so that you can decide if you want to read this book or not. This is going to be a short review as well. Let's start right here and right now. The Pandavirus. The humans in the story had conquered most of their cosmos, their own solar system, let's just say. And when they looked into each and every planet, they found the bones of one specific species, the Pandavirus. It looked like a big fat bird when reassembled and put together in simulations, and they thought to themselves, how do you find bones of a particular species in a lot of different planets? Well, sentience is a prerequisite for that, right? And so, if sentience once evolved in the past, what's stopping it from evolving again? And if sentience once evolved in the past, who's to say it dissolved? Nobody, right? And in that circumstance, what they needed to do was prepare the big guns. Planet level threats. No, solar system level threats. But these weapons did not really come handy because the species that the Pandavirus evolved into was that freaking strong. The Q, as they would call them, raged down from the heavens, and they entered the planet's cosmos and they took over most, if not all, of the Starman's homes. One species escaped. These people were called the Spacers. I'll cover them after, but now here's what happened to the rest. The rest of them, the Q looked at humans as we look at mice, and they thought to themselves, it's gonna be a nice idea to play with these guys' genes, and they did exactly that. They contorted our forms, they distorted us into weird looking shapes, and when they left us 5 million years later, some looked like this. This guy looks like a pancake. Tell me I'm wrong, and I'll tell you why I'm right. And they left us in a lot of other weird looking forms, like this, and this. But sentience did re-emerge, at least in those who survived. Because if you did not evolve sentience, you were pretty much dead in the conditions they left you in. While some evolved sentience, there is this one species called the lizard herders, where the lizards evolved sentience and they took over humans first, and now this is what humans look like in that planet. So this is like the basic lore of this series. Now I'm gonna take you through a few of their races, and 3 to be precise, for starting right now. Species number 1, the Gravitals, or more specifically the Ruin Hunters. The Starmen's original homes were like Mars and Earth, and when they were in their home planets, they had their technologies not really that badly disassembled by the Q. The Q were more interested in genetic experimentation. They left the buildings as they were. As they were is a very wrong statement, but as they were, as the centuries and millennia could keep them. And when the people who were left in this world, who were used as slaves, found these ruins, they were able to develop their technologies again. They stood on the shoulders of giants, and they evolved first, before any other species could, and regained their sentience. And once they regained their sentience, they thought it was a good idea to put their minds into quantum computers and keep them there. A really good idea, right? And they put themselves into bodies that could control gravitational fields and become invulnerable as a result. So, when this happened, all they became was a floating ball that could cross extraterrestrial spaces and move to different planets. They raged down on other aliens who developed similar sentience, and that's what these Gravitals did. They were gravity controlling, physics defying, flying bodies with quantum computers for minds. They were not soulless, they had families and societies, but to them, we looked like mice. We, the other people. So, they did what the Q did. They genetically modified everybody else. And that could be a All Tomorrows Part 2 of itself. So that was one species, and now we talked about the ruin hunters and their evolution to the gravitals. That sound interesting? Well, if that sounded interesting, oh boy, I have more for you. Now we're going to take a look at the lizard herders. So the lizard herders, they by instinct herded lizards and did some form of early agriculture. What happened next was, you know how there was this Jurassic era, oh no, the Triassic period, right? That happened all over again in that planet. And so the reptilians gained an advantage over non-reptilians there because of the varying temperatures, and as a result, the reptilians flourished and they gained sentience before the humans could. So what the humans became was essentially like what yaks and cows became to humans. We became their vehicles, we became their whatever the hells. What did they drink from us? That sounds so wrong to think about, but that could have been the case as well. Now, that were the lizard herders for you. We were put saddles on and we were rode in by them. And let me tell you the story of another species, the spacers, who actually escaped. The mad lads who survived the queue. These mad lads, they lived in hollows in asteroids, and they found that low gravity can actually be really good for your mental health. And their brains developed as a result. So when their brains expanded and expanded and expanded, at a point of time, their brains grew out like wings. Yeah, that sounds weird. So what happened was their fingers, the finger bones extended into swindly structures that could be used for more precise manipulation of things, and their legs developed into swindles and so on because of the lower gravity. What they could do, however, was navigate their asteroid ships and move to different planets. That's exactly what they did. They watched and they watched and they watched. And when the gravitals interfered with the humans, they said, hell nah, not happening again, bro. And they messed up the gravitals and they made their bodies into different forms. And they used the gravitals like the Q used the humans. So, that is the basic premise of All Tomorrows. And I believe that you were able to enjoy the story as a whole. If you had the attention span for it, pat yourself on the back, because not many people do. You are capable of enjoying science fiction. Now, I will give you a link to the PDF of the book if I could. But Kosenman's putting out an unbound publishing thingy, and I was able to get my hands on the PDF long before, and I literally just read it last week. So I'm pretty sure you might be able to find it online. I just don't want to do it. Try looking into Kosenman's website if you want to support him. This video is over. If you like this video and want more like this channel is gonna be filled up with more like this in the future. So subscribe, bell icon, like this video if you liked it, that's obvious, and comment for the algorithm. Just put a smiley face there, a colon and a sideway parenthesis. How hard can it be? Yeah, goodbye. See you in the next one.